Welcome to PlayStation Corner, my name is Alex. Today we're taking a look at GigaBash on the PlayStation 5. Think an arena brawler with kaiju and mechs. It's been long awaited as well, but now it's finally here. Was it worth that wait? Well, that's what we're here to find out, so hit subscribe, join us here for reviews and deals weekly, and let's get started. GigaBash then does feature a story, 4 in fact, and while there's not one for each of the 10 included characters, we do at least get to see the tales of 4 of them, and along the way we'll meet the majority of the cast as well. It's also worth knowing that there is 2 characters that are unlocked from beating this mode. The stories, though, they detail characters Gorogong, Pipajurus, Wooly and Thundertross. They are fine, 5 chapters in each. It adds a dash of lore to this world, and we'll see everything from ancient beasts in a volcano to saving the human race as a mech. It is simple stuff, but it's absolutely in keeping with the theme. Gameplay then, it features 3 modes and 2 training options. The training, that is a tutorial as well as a gym. The gym, it's an open arena where we can test out our movesets while manipulating the mechanics of the mode. It should allow you to practice nearly any scenario you can face in the game, and it packs a whole lot of adjustable attributes that you can of course manipulate. Gameplay then, it features 3 modes, 2 training options. The training, that's going to be a tutorial as well as a gym. The gym, an open arena where we can test out our movesets while manipulating the mechanics of the mode. It should allow you to practice nearly any scenario you can face in the game, and it packs a whole host of attributes that you can manipulate. Tutorial, then I doubt you'll come here more than once. It does exactly what it says on the tin, you know, tells you how to move, tells you how to punch. Nothing too in-depth, but absolutely necessary. The real mode, so that's going to be couch play, online play, and the aforementioned story. I was disappointed to see that we didn't get a traditional arcade mode where we chose our character of choice and worked through increasingly challenging opponents, especially given the fact that story only covers 4 of our leads. Couch play, as it's called here then, or local play, thankfully does add a dash of variety thanks to 3 different fight modes. It's going to be free for all, team battle and mayhem. Free for all is a fight for up to 4 players, team battle is 2v2, and then mayhem, it is a set of minigames packed in for something just a little bit different, and we will get to that here shortly. All of these modes, and as deceiving as the couch name can be, are for the most part playable solo thanks to the inclusion of CPU controlled characters, and you can set their difficulty on a range of 1 to 6. We also get some unique match settings as well, HP percentages, the number of lives you have, adjustments like having ultimate attacks turned on, items in this world and hazards. You can also then turn on friendly fire should you want something particularly brutal in team battle. Perhaps the most unique option, though, it's what's known as post-death. Many of these included stages, they have effects that take place, like one, lava flows. On death, you can actually control fireballs and aim for those still on the battlefield. It's quite a fun system actually, and there's something incredibly satisfying in dishing out some revenge. The minigame mode then, finally, it's actually pretty sizable at 20 different ideas. They are bucketed under different categories, though some do have a player limit. For example, the screen you are looking at right now, you will see a few are grayed out, as this is me playing in 2-player. I presume they require 4. This is everything though from high score chasing by, let's say, destroying a city, to the floor is lava and the map becomes progressively overrun. The disappointment and the miss here, though, in my opinion, you can't play these games online. You can only play them locally in multiplayer. There's not even an option to play them with AI controlled opponents. It cuts down the number of individuals that can enjoy this mode, and that's a shame, as it really goes a long way to somewhat padding out what is, you know, kind of a light experience. The more frustrating thing of this as well is some of these modes actually feature in story mode as well, or at least a couple of them, and it's definitely fun to destroy a city in record time or take down some army defenses. Why I can't choose this outside of that, I do not understand. While I'm on that story mode as well, it's worth knowing there's 4 difficulties packed in for some at least additional replayability. Online then as well, next, and this is somewhat unusual in its design as well. It does have crossplay though, no PC players, that's PS4 and 5 only, but we get public and private, pretty standard stuff. But public has 3 modes, that's free for all, team battle, and then what it calls duel. That's an unranked 1v1 battle. That seems like a fantastic idea, but no doubt you'd want to play this one with friends. That's the funny thing, you can't. For some reason in private, the mode for inviting those from your friends list, it's been removed entirely. The logic is really quite something at times here, honestly, and I can't think of a reason why you would want to take it away. All modes, all battles, and they do go towards a character and personal level as well, which will go towards different unlockables packed into the game. Then when it comes to things like the stages, there's actually going to be 16 in total. Many of these will be locked first. Unlocking them, it's a simple case of playing all of the other stages first, and it will gradually remove that barrier. It is quick and painless, and that is what I like to see. I don't want to be here grinding it out to play what should have been included in the core game already. That's every mode you will find in here though, and while it's not the richest of mode lists, I can thankfully say the fighting to back it all up, it is solid, it is good fun, and that is exactly what I wanted. So first, the 10 packed in characters, not the biggest of lists, let's face it, but it features all sorts from think Wooly the Yeti to classic Power Ranger almost vibes, to towering mechs that gave me an air of Gundam, to of course a Godzilla clone in armor. They each feel extremely different as well. Though you'll use the same inputs for different actions, it's really a case of figuring out which suits your style. We've got the fast characters, the heavies, the defensive. I didn't particularly like Wooly at first, for example, but quickly I realized his strength is actually in defense and parrying, like you can suck up the world around you and spit it back out. It's just going to take some practice and experimentation, and that's exactly what you want from an experience like this. You want them to feel dramatically different. Controls wise then, I'll put that up on screen for you all, but we get standard and heavy attacks, grabs, the ability to block and parry, we can jump, we can even climb structures. It keeps things as simple as is the genre norm, focusing on think simple pick up and play action, and it's all presented then from an isometric viewpoint. Finally, for the moves then, we do get transformations and ultimate attacks. We have to fill a meter by attacking our opponents or finding collectibles. These are orbs scattered around the battlefield. The transformation makes you a whole lot bigger, basically like triple or double the size. It allows you to deal more damage though, while the ultimate, it's a flashy, often devastating output from your character of choice, and they were particularly satisfying. When it is 4 players going at it though, things get manic explosions, flashy animations, structures crumbling, transformations all over the place. It's not a particularly smart game, let's face it, but it is fiscal, which is exactly what you want. The fiscal nature of the battles as well, that can be credited to the stage design as well. You can tear up buildings, you can find explosives, you can leverage spikes to stab your opponents on as just a few examples. There's a decent little selection of, let's say, interactables. The one area that did disappoint though, tearing up buildings or items to throw. It's a case of light items, they fly in a straight line. The bigger ones though, they fly in an arc shape, and it often proved, with the arc at least, just a little awkward to control, as characters they often get up in your face. Outside of that then, the rest it's unlockables. We get lore on this world with progression, a gallery, music tracks, badges which seem to be independent from achievements, and unlockable character skins that are essentially colour swaps. For gameplay though, it's a fun world with a fun if somewhat small roster of 10, but they've done a great job of making them feel so different. I just wish there was now more to do with them in here. It's really gotta be as well online or local multiplayer that brings you in, because there's no arcade mode, so it's the 4-character story arc and high score chasing after that. There's also been some unique design decisions as well around local only minigames, or a 1v1 mode that is locked to online only in public matches. Graphically then, I really like it. The character models, they are fantastic, and while at times the texture work in stages can be a bit light, let's say outside of the barriers that kind of keep you into this arena, I still think it's a nice selection, from cityscapes to volcanoes to snowy mountaintops. The animations for our warriors are particularly entertaining as well, as they are often over expressive to a comedic effect, which I think is completely appropriate. They just have a lot of personality. The menus then, they look great as well, almost old school and minimal colour tone movie posters, and it's clear from the extras they've put effort into these characters having backstories that make sense and reflect visually. Issues in story, occasionally it will give you a simple challenge like spit a fire attack back at someone, but when you do achieve this and it kind of checks off that challenge, I noticed a very slight minor stutter. Fortunately though, this does not seem to carry over to local play or online, so that is a good thing. Occasionally as well, for problems and objects given their destructibility, they can get stuck, they can float in some unusual places. Overall though, look, visually, good stuff. It looks especially crisp on the PlayStation 5 with that 4K output, and I would actually absolutely recommend story mode as well, because there we do get some really nicely handled, almost cartoon-like cutscenes. Audio finally, keeping it quick, a nice selection of music that's thematically over the top and very much feels like it could be lifted from any one of the influences in here. The attacks and cities as well, they sound fantastic. You'll hear the buildings collapse, you'll hear gunfire from the humans surrounding you, even if you can't really hurt them. And then our cast each have their own unique effects too. I do, however, wish the minimal stories that we do get in here, I wish they were voice acted. It would have really dialed up the production, but sadly this is a case of reading text boxes only. So the final verdict, GigaBash, been long awaited. For me, somewhat surprising how light it almost feels on content. I really think a few tweaks here in a traditional arcade mode could go a long way. Adding things like the mini games, so to local play with AI characters, or online for example, give us 1 versus 1 in private lobbies. These smaller tweaks will make it feel like a much more rounded out product. That said though, it has a lot of heart to the combat. It's extremely fun and manic, and there's something incredibly satisfying in a classic brawler that I just can't personally resist. I grew up on titles like Power Stone on my Dreamcast. In fact, still have that Dreamcasting game and still play it to this day. So it's just great to see another entry making its way to the next gen. And sure, look, we've seen entries recently, but not in this almost arcade format, where it's simply about the destruction and going all out. It's a good game, I've had fun, but it has so much potential still unexplored, and hopefully they continue now to support it and continue to grow its list of features. It's a good 7 out of 10 from me today, with a caveat, just be aware it's really local play and online only. The quick matches, the rest of the content won't really last you all of that long. That story, for example, that was a couple of hours unless you intend to go back now and try it on another difficulty. It is, however, going to be a blast as a party brawler though, that is for sure. At time of recording as well, it is worth noting here, this is the eve of release and there is no word on pricing. It has not been announced yet. I hope it's sitting no higher than $25 or your regional equivalent. Any higher and I'd definitely be a little more concerned. Once we do have that pricing though, I will make sure to put it in the pinned comment down below, so do look out for that. Will you be adding this one to the library then, or holding onto that cash? Then hit subscribe, join us here for reviews and deals weekly, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.